meetings in Fonyi. 65 youth activists across the country participate in a national dialogue on peaceful campaign and election in the Gambia, jointly organized by the National Youth Council and ECOWAS. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources engages media practitioners on climate change, education and reporting. The Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs puts efforts to decentralize its service to rural Gambia. And in other news, a joint United Nations and African Union peacekeeping mission in Darfur set to send 30 years of operation on December 31st after a resolution to terminate its mandate. This and much more coming ahead in the news. I am Awa Jobate. Thanks for joining us. Many thanks for joining us. We begin this bulletin with the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow on Monday, begins the second phase of his Meet the People's tour with meetings in Sintet and Bambara in Fonyi West. Issues pertaining to national development. We hope to bring you details on that story in our subsequent newscast. Away from that, Fatoumata Sendeng, daughter of late Ibrahim Solo Sendeng, on Tuesday testified before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, giving accounts on the 14th April 2016 demonstrations. She gave testimonies on the impact of the protests calling for electoral reforms on the Sendeng family. Ibrahim Solo Sendeng was a member of the United Democratic Party and led a peaceful protest on April 14, 2016, demanding electoral reforms. In the Gambia, his subsequent arrest and alleged killing by state security personnel prompted the UDP executives for another protest led by Usainu Dabo requesting for Solo's release. Dead or alive? Usman Mane has more on that story.
To his posthumous birthday, daughter of late Ibrahim Solo Sandeng, Fatoumata Sandeng, gave her testimony at the Truth Commission on the 14th April 2016 demonstration. Fatoumata told the commission that her father informed her of the peaceful protest the very day of the event before leaving the house and asked her not to return home without knowing the outcome of the demonstration. Subsequently, she received the news of her father's arrest and torture to death by agents of the security forces. She explained that she led a group to Usainu Dabo's residence in Pipeline where a press conference was convened and Dabo revealed their readiness to request for Solo's body, dead or alive.
At Usainu's compound. The pipeline Usainu Cordato. Because before he left, he also said that we can't let Solo's death go in vain. We can't let this continue. So he said there will be a press conference at his house. So when we marched, we went there to join the press conference. I remember some people were behind me, they were shouting, Jackie killed my father, he killed Solo, they were saying that, I remember.
Following the event, her family faced a series of threats on their lives, thus going into exile in Senegal, where they spent 9 months.
Soma Silas sent, she firstly connected me to someone, Musa Assar, who was also in exile in Senegal. Musa told me he would guide me. Musa until we got to him. They also sent a driver. I remember it was 5th of April. We divided ourselves into 2 groups. Some went through the Bangul Ferry Terminal. And some of us used Jiboro.
After their return to the country in January 2017, Fatoumata Sandeng established the Solo Sandeng Foundation to keep his father's legacy and values he believes in to protect rights of people through democracy. She said her father's remains is still at the hospital after 4 years and called for closure for the family.
So the police asked us if we would give them permission to exhume the body. And again, on behalf of the family, I signed the papers. The police exhumed the body, at which I couldn't be present. But my younger brother, Muhammad,
bari adoma Muhammad wo bijele no wotumo.
I was taken to Bangalore, the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. And a DNA test was conducted, and the body was still at the hospital 4 years now. That is one of the things that hurt, knowing that Solos remains at the hospital.
Fatoumata urged people to stop using her father's name to score political gains. Ismaila Cisse of Brufut and Yaya Jammeh of Jaratonya Taba also testified, as they were also arrested and sentenced to 3 years in prison alongside Usainu Dabo for the April 2016 protest requesting for the release of Ibrahima Solo Sandeng, dead or alive. Usman Mane, GRTS.
Moving on, the National Youth Dialogue on Peaceful Campaigning and Election in the Gambia is underway at a local hotel in Kololi. The dialogue on the theme Youth as Agents of Peace and Non-Violence Elections brought together 65 participants from across the country seeking a peaceful, free and fair electoral process in the Gambia. Baba Sila has more on that development.
More efforts are being engaged to increase youth participation in politics and decision-making. They include this two-day dialogue creating a platform for young people to discuss pertinent issues regarding their involvement in the country's reform process ahead of presidential election in 2021. Team on Youth as Agents of Peace and Non-Violence Election. The crucial dialogue was graced by the Minister of Youth and Sports, Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission and the Special Representative of the President of ECOWAS Commission to the Gambia. The chairperson of the National Youth Council, Usman Fati, reminded his colleagues of the crucial role they play in country's reform processes, which essentially include election, peace building and national security activities that promote democracy and good governance.
National Youth Council of the Gambia, in partnership with the ECOWAS Permanent Mission in the Gambia, is today jointly organizing this two-day National Youth Dialogue in the context of the ECOWAS support to the consolidation of peace, democracy, and good governance in the Gambia.
Representing the President of ECOWAS Mission to the Gambia, Claudio Kondo, a political advisor to the mission, lauded the initiative as crucial and timely ahead of the country's presidential election, while highlighting numerous interventions ECOWAS has undertaken since the change of regime in 2016.
ECOWAS has been in the Gambia since March 2017, after the political interregnum. And we have supported various activities to promote national cohesion and democratic governance. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm here this morning with you to reiterate the commitment of ECOWAS towards stabilizing the Gambia and making sure that Gambia achieves the priorities of the national development.
Alo Momonja is the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission.
I would also appeal to you, the youth, some of whom may not have a voter's card. Next year, we are going to do a complete voter registration. Even those of us with cards, those cards are invalid. So the whole country will be informed where we'll be, when we'll be, and how to do it and when to do it. And party agents and candidate agents are always invited to come and witness everything from the beginning to the end. And at the end of the day, we paste those who are registered in the polling station so that anybody who has any objection can object.
The country's electoral chief explained the consequences of election while highlighting critical factors that influence election crisis and violence. The Gambia's electoral chief urged young people to carry themselves in a responsible manner during the process. Youth and Sport Minister Bakr Baji, who presided over the opening ceremony, appealed to young people to always distance themselves from hate speech, tribalism, and violence.
The role of young people in the successful conduct of peaceful campaigning and elections remains a key cause of concern for many Gambians, particularly the younger generation of today. And the third is that young people have both been victims and perpetrators of heinous crimes pre, during, and post-elections in most parts of the sub-region. It is therefore right that we learn from these lessons and prepare the young constituency to take its rightful role in the maintenance of peace throughout the election cycle.
The National Youth Council was established by an Act of Parliament in 2000. The agency is actively operating in all 7 administrative regions and districts with over 125 registered national and community-based youth and civil society organizations under its fold. The agency is mandated to mobilize, coordinate, and supervise youth groups as well as support national youth programs and advise the government on youth matters. For GRTS News, I am Baba Silla.
GRTS has been informed of a riot in Tanje village this afternoon after a woman was allegedly killed at the beachside. Earlier in the news, we spoke to the Police PRO Superintendent Lamin Jai to establish facts on the matter. Let's take a listen.
Good evening and thanks for having us.
Now, Mr. PRO, please tell us more about the incident. What really happened in Tanje?
Very well. We have got information on Sunday that a woman has been missing, and this matter was reported to the police, and so the police officers have documented this report, and they have opened a case file, and this file has been forwarded for investigation. And so the investigations are ongoing, and today we received information that the body of a woman has been found somewhere on the outskirts of the village of Tanje, and so the police rushed to the scene with some other medical personnel to look into the situation, and they were able to identify the woman later as the woman that was missing, and so investigations continued from there. And so we have been able to gather information and reports, and so a particular individual, a suspect in the matter, has been arrested by the police. Like you have mentioned, during the course of this situation, some members of the public within that area have came out definitely, and they were sort of obstructing and demanding that the police hand over the suspect to them so that they could do some form of a mob justice. And so that was the situation that came up there, because the police wanted to ensure that the situation is calmed down so that the investigations can go on about with their job.
Okay, Mr. PRO, who is this woman and what more do we know about her?
What we know about the woman is that she is a businesswoman actually, and so she sells at the fish market somewhere, and the story is such that she used to entrust the shopkeeper with some money from time to time, and she heard that the shopkeeper has sold out the shop and wanted to run away to Ginebi, Conakry, something like this. And so she wanted to ensure that she request her money before the shopkeeper flee to Guinea. And so eventually that was the cause of the problem between her and the shopkeeper. And since then, when the shopkeeper, we understand, has given her an appointment to come and collect her money, and since that day it was the last when people saw the woman.
Is the shopkeeper the suspect?
Exactly. The shopkeeper is the suspect, and he is arrested and currently helping the police in their investigation. In fact, as we speak, the police have charged him with murder because we have got sufficient evidence to connect him to the murder of the woman that passed, the deceased woman.
Okay. Now, what will be your advice to the public with regards to the rioting?
Very well. We want to assure the public that the police are up to task and they can do their job to investigate and be able to prefer appropriate charges and put people before the court and get them prosecuted for the offenses, the criminal offenses that they have committed. So we want the public to allow the police to do their job, especially when under some circumstances, so that people don't take the law into their own hands or want to or undergo mob justice against other people, because in every civilized society, the law and the due process must be allowed to take its course.
Welcome to the news, Mr. Njai.
Good evening and thanks for having us.
Now, Mr. PRO, please tell us more about the incident. What really happened in Tanje?
Very well. We have got information on...
In another development, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, through its communication unit on Tuesday, organized a day-long training program for media practitioners on climate change education. The Capacity Building Forum targets 25 environmental journalists and community radio stations, courtesy of an organization DOPS support to local organizations. A mini grant given to network of journalists on environment, fisheries, and natural resources. Aisatu Jata Gassama reports.
This day-long forum will help environment journalists understand climate change issues, as well as the role and functions of the Environment Ministry. The Network of Journalists on Environment, Fisheries and Natural Resources is a working media group.
Efforts of this organization in order that you will be able to be equipped with knowledge, requisite knowledge, of course, and to be able to go out there, capture activities that are undertaken by institutions.
Information dissemination has become an important element for environmental protection, which cannot be accomplished if journalists don't understand the key issues driving climate change and shifting weather conditions.
If you look at the Gambia, there are some environmental issues. How can we overcome this environment? How can the public better understand to preserve their environment? It is through the media that can relate it, and that has to be done in a responsible manner. It should not be sensational, and it should be always, we should always try to verify the facts around our stories.
Media coverage of the environment and natural resources, use and sustainability has significantly advanced eco-protection. Training has also enabled the media to interpret, break down and simplify technical terms for better public understanding and consumption.
It is also important for you to understand the technicality of the issues that we deal with. So as journalists, it will be very important that you understand the technicalities of those issues. The jargons that we often use need to be understood and interpreted in a way that the public can better consume it. Sometimes as technicians, we overlook this. So by helping you to digest those jargons, you will be able to help us to get the public to understand those jargons adequately.
Participants Yusuf Taylor of Gainako News and our DK Conte from the Department of Information Services described the day-long forum as a beneficial initiative that will enhance their environmental reporting techniques.
When you talk about climate change, there are so many technical, words used like sea level rise, temperature increase, and all of those things can be technical jargons which the public may not understand. But that could be also because the journalists don't fully understand it themselves to break it down. So we're hoping that after this training, at least some of those technical jargons will be better understood.
It is something which is very good. And, most of the people, some journalists who are here have never been, attending such kind of training. And I guess this is a very good time and it's a great opportunity for them to attend it. It's very important as a journalist, since we are the mouthpiece of the society, that we need to inform people about climate change, and we have been seeing things that have been trending in the society lately about climate change. So hence this training is taking place. We have to utilize on it as the journalist to inform people about the advantage and the disadvantage that is behind climate change.
These environmental journalists are now expected to share and implement the knowledge gained from this training in advancing eco-protection and sustainability issues. For the news, I am Aisatu Jata Gassama.
The Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, in its endeavor to decentralize their service, purchased 5 brand new vehicles for their regional offices as well as the Land Commission. The vehicles were delivered on Monday by Buba Sanyang, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Lands. Let's take a listen.
The Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs is supposed to decentralize its service to the regional areas, is providing support and decentralizing its technical arm to the regions to enable effective and efficient land management in the whole country. The ministry already have decentralized their technical department, that is Department of Physical Planning, in all the regions, and is on the verge of also decentralizing the Department of Lands and Surveys to the regions. So to enable them function effectively, the ministry deemed it fit to provide them with the logistic to be able to enable them to do their work efficiently. The regions to benefit from this today's handing over of vehicles is the region of URR, that is the Upper River region, the Physical Planning Office, together with the Lands Office there, as well as the Central River region, and Lower River region, and the North Bank region. The representatives of the physical planning officers in those regions are with us here. You will recall that in the past, most of the transactions in these regions have been sent to the ministry, or we have to seek the support or the technical team. We've set up a technical team to go on a trek, to go and do some of these activities within the regions. So to reduce that pressure on the ministry, we've decentralized the offices in the region, and we are providing these pickups. In addition to the Prado that is being provided for the Land Commission, which was set some time back, and is to enable resolve land-related issues in the country here, is providing them with a laptop to each of the commission members to enable and enhance their work.
And Job Kunda families of Busumbala and Jabang village, respectively, refused trade-off to minimize damages associated with the demolition of houses of victims of the land dispute. The media press briefing was organized by the Ministry of Lands to disclose the High Court ruling on the resolutions of the Jata and Jabang Kunda families.
Grief and anxiety on the faces of the innocent victims of the land dispute within the Jata Kundal family of Busumbala and the Job Kundal family of Jabang village in the West Coast region. Sheikh Ndao, who built a story building in one of the disputed area, is said to lose it through demolition. The Jata family, who sold a piece of land to the Job family way back in 1998, ended up reselling part of the same piece of land to different individuals who planted solid buildings in their new homes, and the High Court has now passed judgment to evict them, as the Joe family requested that their land be returned to them. Buba Sanyang is the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Lands.
After re-establishing the boundary of the lease, it became apparent that both parties, that is both Job Kunda and the Jata Kunda, have sold beyond their limits. After we did this particular field visit, we came to realize that Job Kunda sold more than what is within their lease, and also the Jata Kunda family has sold to people encroaching into the lease of the Job Kunda family.
What is also interesting is that the Job family also encroached into the Jata Kunda family land when they were reselling their leased property, and the Jata family is now requesting that that portion of the land is returned to them. Buba Sanyang again.
The ministry accorded both parties the right over their land. After establishing the boundary, the demolition exercise is to be conducted. Because once we establish the boundary, we establish who is where, rightly or wrongly. Those who are at the wrong side, they should be removed, so that the person will have his right, especially within the lease.
The Lands Ministry earlier advised the two families to accept trade-off to avoid mass demolition of the properties for the interest of innocent families who already built solid houses and are living in the area, but they refuse.
And if we are going to do a trade-off, it's going to start with people who are living there already. They've built and they're living there with family. And then we come to the next step, who are people who have started or have gone far in the development. But as PS says, ultimately, it's the responsibility of the state to accord them their right. And if they insist that they want to have full right over their land, even at the extent of demolition, well, we don't have much choice. And that is why we call in the media, because we know that there is a lot of narrative out there. Ministry says this is the task force. We want everybody to hear from the horse's mouth. The decision to demolish is not the ministry. We've pushed it to an extent to allow them to reason with us, to trade off, but they insist on demolition to accord them their right.
Adama Job represented the Job family, and Amadou Cisse represented the Jata family of Busumbala.
As a family and as the family leader, we are open to negotiation. We are not waiting for the task force to call us in corridor or wherever. We are ready. Whoever feels that we obstruct you, come, we see how we are ready for it.
For us, we are open up. A lot of propaganda has been sent to the ground, but if you don't talk to the person, you will not know who is the person. So we are open up. Anybody feel like you are outside Job Kunda family and got a land from Job Kunda family, you are into Busumbala land, Jata Kunda family, we are open up. Come up, talk to us. So we are open up. If the land that sold to you, we did not give it to anybody and did not sold to anybody, come up, we sit down and cooperate with us. That's what we expect people to do.
And as this information was given to the press by personnel of the Ministry of Lands, one important suggestion was that it is time the court and the government protect innocent land victims by levying heavy penalty on land dealers who most times sell lands they do not own. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Bansang Anglo-Futa Development Association is officially launched in Bansang with the purpose of promoting unity and development in the area. Our regional correspondent in CRR, Mamadou Lamin Sane, has more on that story.
Time in many decades, residents of Bansang Anglo-Futa area came together to formally launch the Bansang Anglo-Futa Development Association at the community's town field. The well-attended ceremony, graced by high-profile dignitaries and community members, seeks to foster understanding, unity, and cooperation via a community-based group that will direct the area's development.
It is in line with Sustainable Development Goal 6, clean water and sanitation. Currently, the association, in partnership with our people in the diaspora, are offering scholarship to 8 needy students who are attending Bansang Senior Secondary School. This scholarship came at the right time and it was given to the right students, and we pledge to.
Residents of Bansang Anglo-Futa intend to mobilize a robust community organization to meaningfully contribute to the area's development. The development of every village or town starts from the grassroots level, just like the people of Bansang Anglo-Futa are doing right now. Coming together will always foster unity and development. The region's officials see this communal mobilization as a crucial move towards sustainable development, allowing collective participation.
The people of Bansang Anglo-Futa are asset to this country because they are highly skilled, involved in petty trading and entrepreneurship, and above all, contribute to the gross domestic product of the country.
Rural townships like this one in Bansang will greatly benefit from such cooperative initiatives engaging communal action to realize shared development goals. Mamadou Lamin Sane reporting for GRTS News from the Central River region.
As the clock ticks towards end of a pandemic-driven year, people around the world are marking the holiday season with reflections while maintaining a bit of normalcy where possible. One major characteristic of the festive season in the Gambia is the numerous social activities by different actors. One of the groups aiming to enter the stage is the Brothers Union, a group of leading entrepreneurs in the country. They are working to partake in national development through their numerous endeavors. Joining us to discuss the group's upcoming event and its significance is the chairman of the organization committee and president of the Brothers Union, Mr. Badu Sow.
activities of the its inception?
Thank you for having me. Yes, the Brothers Union is a group of brothers coming together, football lovers, I should say, to form a union. Basically, the union is actually network. Among us, you have lawyers, you have businessmen, you have you name it, we have it among our group. And then we thought, okay, if we all can come together, what can we give back? What can we do for the Gambia?
Okay,
and
now,
we thought, okay.
Okay, why are you embarking on this major activity on New Year's Eve?
Yes, we are embarking on a banquet dinner. We will be embarking on a banquet dinner, which we will be inviting the whole country if interested to come and attend. It is there for us to basically network, fundraising again, but as the indication says, we had been told that obviously we had some issues with, we were doing some invitation for the GFF to come and join us to celebrate along the line. But I can understand there was an issue to say that we were inviting or doing a fundraising for them, which I think that was a miscommunication.
Okay, going forward, how is this organization going to partake in national development efforts?
Well, like I said, we are comfortable. There's a lot of us among us that could have sit back and not do much. But as I said, if you look at the Gambia as a country, we are a poor country. The government is doing at most the best what they could do. Okay, us as citizens, what can we do to give back? Giving back varies. Right, we could walk into anybody's home and see, look, this person needs help. What can we do to help? We could walk into seeing mosques in the province, try and help them. These are the agendas that the Brothers Union is pushing.
First of all, tell us more about the activities of the group since its inception.
As I said, thank you for having me. Yes, the Brothers Union is a group of brothers coming together, football lovers, I should say, to form a union. Basically, the union, what we do is actually network. Among us, you have lawyers, you have businessmen, you have you name it, we have it among our group. And then we thought, okay, if we all can come together, what can we give back? What can we do for the Gambia?
Okay, now,
we thought, okay.
Okay, why are you embarking on this major activity on New Year's Eve?
Yes, we are embarking on a banquet dinner. We will be embarking on a banquet dinner, which we will be inviting the whole country if interested to come and attend. It is there for us to basically network, fundraising again, but as the indication says, we had been told that obviously we had some issues with, we were doing some invitation for the GFF to come and join us to celebrate along the line. But I can understand there was an issue to say that we were inviting or doing a fundraising for them, which I think that was a miscommunication.
Okay, going forward, how is this organization going to partake in national development efforts?
Well, like I said, we are comfortable. There's a lot of us among us that could have sit back and not do much. But as I said, if you look at the Gambia as a country, we are a poor country. The government is doing at most the best what they could do. Okay, us as citizens, what can we do to give back? Giving back varies. Right, we could walk into anybody's home and see, look, this person needs help. What can we do to help? We could walk into seeing mosques in the province, try and help them. These are the agendas that the Brothers Union is pushing.
TAF Africa Foundation has awarded a veteran African musician, promoter, and former manager of the Ifambondi band, Okudrame. The TAF Icon Award 2020 signifies the legendary's contribution in promoting African music globally. Okudrame, an influential figure in African music, was the founder of the African Music Festival in 1983. We have more on that story.
Starting his early career as a disc jockey for nightclubs, radio stations and social gatherings, Okudrame, a musical genius, rise to become the promotions manager of the Super Eagles band, which was later rebranded to the Ifang Bondi. Relocating to the Netherlands in 1981, Okudrame has been an outstanding contributor to the expansion and elevation of African music. An ethnomusicologist, disc jockey and producer, Okudrame is famous for organizing concerts worldwide. the largest being the yearly African Musical Festival that attracts over 10,000 festival goers, which started in the Netherlands in 1983, expanding to Hollywood in 1997, which eventually reached China in 2009. Oko is largely credited for the spreading popularity of African music around the world and has continued to encourage African music and its artists via concerts, television programs, festivals, symposiums, and radio programs. Under this backdrop, the TAF AFCON Awards deems it necessary to award extraordinary personalities like Oko Drame.
Event that seeks to celebrate and honor retired Gambians who are impacting the lives of people through community development initiatives. Our first awardee was Mrs. Janet Bajan Young, as Peter said, who is a retired UN staff and is the proprietress of Ebujan Theatre. The award ceremony was graced by over 300 guests from the government, international development partners, youth, students, etc. And this year's award goes to Mr. Oko Drame.
The ceremony was colorful. Veteran griots reminded the gathering of the story of this great icon of global music through their melodious chants. Siaka Fadera, deputized the Director General of the NCAC, said that Oko Drame's role in the promotion of African music has given African and Gambian artists a head start to expand and market their craft.
Nana described Oku's rise from half-die, Roddy, and Super Eagles Boy Boy at their Sunday Haware at Tropical nightclub, to writing contracts at Holland and Hollywood. What a great journey he has gone through.
Testimonies of Oko Drame's great work was televised. Musical experts from all over the world shared their experiences working with the musical icon, his dedication, foresight, and love for showcasing the beauty and diversity of the African culture. The accolade and certificate of the TAF Icon Award 2020 was later presented to this giant of the entertainment industry, a mark of his immense contribution to the development of African music. The overwhelmed recipient, Oko Drame, stated that this recognition made him re-evaluate his career.
And I want to thank the Gambian people for allowing me to be myself. On that note, I thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your power, your love for me, your strength, and the wonderful love of Drame and yours. Truly yours until then, I'll be yours forever. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Upholding the African identity, culture, and tradition through music has been the sole agenda of the great Oko Drame. And due to enthusiasm for African music and the great efforts he has taken to put global focus on African music through his career, Oko Drame has gained the esteemed position he holds in the music industry around the world as a music promoter of distinction. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm by Ibrahim Chan.
We will be back with news from outside the Gambia right after this break. Welcome back. A joint United Nations and African Union peacekeeping mission in Sudan's Darfur region is set to end operations on December 31st, more than 30 years after it was established. The UN Security Council has unanimously adopted a resolution that terminates the mandate for the mission, known as UNIMEL. CGTN's Yasser Hakim looks at why UN forces were deployed.
Mission is a turning point for Sudan after nearly 2 decades of infighting in Darfur.
When the fighting intensified in Darfur from 2003 to 2007, the UN decided to send a military force. At the time, there were 26,000 personnel, including policemen, army soldiers, observers, and experts. There was also an African Union force of 9,000 personnel. It was supposed to be a one-year mission. However, the forces have remained until now because of the escalation in fighting and the worsening situation in Darfur.
The forces were not only on a military mission, but also coordinated humanitarian aid and medical supply to refugee camps. Following the ouster of Omar al-Bashir, the transitional government said it has the ability to secure Darfur. In turn, the UN Security Council approved Khartoum's request to pull out the UNAMID forces from the North African country. But some experts are skeptical about maintaining stability in the restive region after the death of peacekeepers.
There's a lot of talk that the pullout will create a huge void on the peninsula. Even after the signing of a peace accord between the government and armed groups, there are still skirmishes and divisions on the peninsula. Leaving at this time threatens to create a security vacuum because the peace accord stipulates establishing a joint force between the government and armed groups in 90 days, but it hasn't materialized yet, and that puts the region in danger of chaos.
UNAMID forces are expected to leave Sudan over the next 6 months, with hopes the government would have set up an alternative military presence in the region. Yes, Hakim for CGTN, Cairo.
To end the newscast, a quick look at our top stories before we take leave of you. President Adama Barrow has resumed his Meet the People's tour after a Christmas break with meetings in Fonyi. Up to 65 youth activists across the country are participating in a national dialogue on peaceful campaigning and elections in the Gambia, jointly organized by the National Youth Council and ECOWAS. The Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Natural of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs is boosting efforts to decentralize its service to rural Gambia. An adjoined UN and African Union peacekeeping mission in Darfur is set to end 13 years of operation on December 31st after a unanimous resolution by the UN Security Council to terminate its mandate. Well, that was all in this edition of the news. Thank you very much for being there. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our program. Have a good day.